So today, as part of the session, let's learn about workflow log and session log. What kind of things we see in the workflow log, what kind of things we see in the session log. Okay. So for that, let's do something. Let's run this particular SCD type 2. See what will happen. Okay. I think we don't have any data which is updated maybe. Okay. So let me open another workflow, or you can run this parameters only. Okay. Run this parameters session only. So I'm going ahead and starting the workflow. Okay. Then you will be able to generate, session log and workflow log will be generated whenever you are running any particular session. So this workflow log is common across all the sessions which are present in this particular workflow. Whereas session log is particular to that particular session only. Okay. So how to view this workflow log? How to view the workflow log? Right click on it. Okay. Right click on the workflow. First select the workflow. Okay. Right click on the workflow. And then go here, get workflow log. This is how you will get the workflow log. If you see here, it is starting the execution of your workflow. All right. It is starting the execution of your workflow. And then what it is giving? It is workflow parameter started with this ID. Okay. It is giving run ID. So for each and every workflow start, it will maintain one run ID. Okay. It will maintain one run ID. Again, if you are running it next time, it will give some different run ID. Okay.
Workflow log and session log both are different. So then,
yes, both are different. This is at the workflow level. This is
when we run the session, we get the workflow, right?
When you run the session, automatically you are running the workflow as well, but you are running the workflow only for that particular session, not for all the sessions. For example, if you go to the workflow that we have created here, okay, you go here, okay, your batch 2 is there. How many sessions are there in this? There are so many sessions are there. If you are running only this particular session, that also means you are running workflow, but you are running workflow for only this particular session. If you right click and if you start the workflow, what will happen? It will trigger all these connected sessions. It will trigger all these connected sessions which are connected to start. Okay, at that time it will give workflow log. It will be maintained. It will tell like, okay, I have started this session, I have started this session, I have started this session. Okay, you see here. Okay, if you see here, what it is showing, if you go to workflow log, right click and get workflow log. Okay, here if you see, it is saying like, okay, now it is saying like starting the execution of workflow, and what is the workflow name and in which folder it is there, and it is last saved by which user. So it is giving that information. And then what it is doing? It is giving some run ID to that particular workflow run. And then it is checking if any concurrent runs are enabled. Concurrent runs means now you are running this particular workflow. Before completion of this particular workflow, if someone comes and again trigger the same workflow, whether it should run or not. So concurrent run disabled means it won't run at any point of time. Only single workflow will, only one instance of the workflow will run. Same workflow, if you are running it again and again without the completion of the previous run, what will happen? It won't run. It will say like already the previous run is in progress, so I can't trigger the workflow right now. Okay, it will say. Okay. Clear? So for clear, nothing is there. Okay, you need not do it. It is giving some information, and it mostly you won't use this information as well. Okay, there are some other information which you will use. I'll tell you which information is very much useful for us within the log, because it is a log. It will log everything what it is doing. Okay, what it is doing here, starting the task instance start. Okay, execution is started. First, it is starting it here, right? It is starting it here. That's the reason whatever is connected to this, only those will get triggered whenever you are starting the workflow. These other sessions which are not linked won't be triggered because those are not connected to your start. Because What it is doing here, it is first triggering the start and whatever is linked, because once start is completed, see here, on completion, you are triggering all these sessions. And on completing these sessions, you are triggering these. And on completing these sessions, you are triggering these. So it will go in this flow. So when you will come to this particular session, is there any link for these sessions or to the start? No, right? So
No.
whatever is linked, only those things will get triggered whenever you are triggering the workflow. Okay. So expression. So what it is doing, link start to this. This is the link task. Okay. Start is the link task. You have empty expression string evaluated to true. So do we have any expression here to check? Okay. You have to go to this particular next session only when this condition is satisfied. Karke. You don't have anything, right? So you're not mentioning anything. That means it will consider like irrespective of the starting is failed or succeeded, I have to go here. Okay. I have to go here and then trigger it. So all of these things will be triggered in parallel because all of them are at the same level. After start only, they are getting triggered. Okay. So that is what it is mentioning here. And what it is doing, session task instance. Okay. Session task instance is waiting to be started. And it is started with process ID is there, on which node it is running. So all those things, it's a kind of common and you don't need all of that information much. Okay. And again, execution is started. Whenever it is starting the execution, it will check for the parameter file if anything is there. Okay. If you mention any parameter file, it will open that particular parameter file for that session. Okay. It will open parameter file for that particular session. Okay. And what it is saying here, pre-paper with process is running on node. Again, it is showing, giving some information on this particular node it is running. Okay. It is started connected to the repository. Okay. It is connecting to the repository and it is connected to the repository in this domain as user administrator. Okay. In the security domain as native. Okay. So how it is getting connected, with which user it is connecting. Okay. That's what it is mentioning here. Okay. So again, after that, it is saying like, okay, it is completed or not. That information it is showing here. Okay. All of this information, most of the things we don't refer to workflow log. Most of the time, we'll refer to only session log because that's where the logic is there. Okay. What you will get in the workflow log? What you will get? It will start the workflow, and what is the run ID of the workflow, and it will start your link task for the start. Okay. It will start at the start icon. Okay. Start task, you can say. What is start here? Here it will start. Okay. Here it will start, and then it will trigger all the connected sessions. It will trigger all the connected sessions, and also it will show to which repository is connected. Okay. To which repository, to which domain, as well as to which it is showing the repository as well as the domain and with which user you have connected. Okay. And how much time it is taking to connect to the repository. Okay. It should not take much time. If it is taking much time, what will happen? Your processing time will increase. So it will impact the total runtime of your particular session. Okay. See here, within 0.2 seconds, it is able to connect to your repository. Okay. So this is about the workflow log. Any doubts on this one?
No.
Okay. Now let's look at session log. Okay. How you can get the session log? You can click on any session. Okay. In this workflow, what we have variables and parameter session is there. Okay. Right click on this one and you can click on get session log. Okay. You can click on get session log. Or what is the other way of getting the session log? Once you click it
On the top.
see here, okay, on top right, okay, in the middle, basically you have this session log. You can click on it. So there are two ways how you can get your session log. What are those? You can select any session, right click on it, click on get session log, or you can directly click on get session log from here. Okay. Now, if you see here, what is happening? First, it is saying your session is initialized at this particular point of time. Okay, at this particular point of time. And to which repository is connecting, to which integration service it is connecting, to which folder it is connecting, and in which workflow it is there. Okay, in which workflow it is there. If you see here, we have seen this 966 as the run ID for the workflow, right? So this session ran as part of this particular workflow and with the run ID of 966. Okay, the run ID of that particular workflow is 966. It is part of this particular run ID, and also the folder, integration service, repository. It will show all of that. Okay, clear?
Yeah.
Any doubt so far here?
No.
So all of these are, this information. It is saying like your mapping, okay, your workflow, in which folder it is there, which integration service you are using, which repository service you are using. Okay, all of this information it is showing. And after that, what it is showing? Your format of the session. What is the date format you are using? You are using US date format. It is showing that. Okay. And if you see here, you are having different threads. Okay. What are the important threads? The director thread is nothing. It is giving your information at the repository integration service level, like from where you are getting this information. That's what it is showing. Okay, that's what it is showing. And then you have manager information. Here what it is showing? It is showing about the thread. Okay, threads again you will see below. Okay, and then you are having mapping. Okay, at the mapping level, what kind of things it is doing? It will show that. And then you are having pre-session task. Okay, pre-session task. What are the pre-session tasks it is doing? And then you have a reader. Okay, reader, and then transformation, and then writer. Okay, you have all these three. Here what is very, very important? Very, very important is your reader. Okay, your reader, writer, and then transformation. If any transformations are there for you, these three are very, very important because this is where the logic is present. Correct? What is your ETL? ETL means extracting and then transforming and then loading. Extraction will come as part of extraction means we are reading it from somewhere, right? It will come as part of reading. Loading means we are writing that information somewhere. That will come as part of writer. Transformation is you are applying some logic, or you are applying some full name, or you are dividing the data by using a router, or you are doing some lookup on top of a department table in employee department to load the data into employee department. Those kind of things are different transformations that you are doing. Okay, clear? So here now we have discussed about the director. Okay, and then if you go to mapping, okay, if you go to mapping, it is giving thread ID. Okay, it is giving thread ID here. This is also not required for you. Some of the information that you can see here is you can see if it is getting successfully initialized or not. Okay, DTM is some buffer storage it will refer. It has to successfully initialize that thing. So you need not to worry about all of these things. Only you need to worry about, okay, only you need to worry about reader, and then transformation, and then writer. You need not to even worry about pre-session as well. It will just check if the truncate load is enabled or not. Okay, some pre-session things, it will check. No load constraints for the target. It doesn't reference to any primary table from the same active source or transaction generator. So all these things are not required. These are some pre-session things which are very common across all the mappings. Only things that you need to worry are, what are those?
Reader, writer,
Reader, transformation, and writer. Now let's go ahead and see in the reader what is happening. Now reader thread is started. Okay, these you call three threads. This is reader thread. This is transformation thread. This is writer thread. In reader thread, what is happening? It is starting it. Okay, and it's ID 5. Okay, it is giving some ID. You need not to worry about that. See, if you see here, ID 5, ID 6 for the transformation thread, ID 7 for the ID 7 for
writer
thread. If you see here, ID 4 for pre-session, Okay, pre-session ID 4 is there, mapping ID 3 is there. Okay, your manager is having the ID as 1. Okay, this is how it will give the ID. So it is to reference internally. We need not to worry about that. Okay, we need not to worry about that. Okay, so now you come here where we are at the reader. Now reader, it is starting that thread. So in order to read the data, what it has to do? It has to connect to the database as per our requirement. So what we are doing in our session, what we are doing in parameters and variable session, in source, we are connecting to a we are connecting to Oracle database. So here, if you see, it is connecting to this database, OT source dev 2, by using the source as XE. If you go to OT source dev 2, you are having the service name as XE. So it is connecting to this particular database. So that initialization is completed. Now it checked, okay, I have to read the data from source, whether I am able to connect to the database or not. It is checking. So it is able to connect. And then it is started the transformation thread. As of now, it is not doing anything here. Okay, and it is started the writer thread. Okay, writer thread is started, and it is checking whether I can connect to the writer database or not. Writer is a database for us, and it is giving what is the database. Okay, what is the database? If you see here, bulk mode is off. Why it is off? Why it is off?
Because we turned into normal.
Yeah, if you go here, target load type, there is a bulk as well as normal. So we turned it into normal. That's the reason it is saying like it is turned off. And what kind of operations we'll do on top of a target? In this mapping, what kind of operations we are doing? We are doing only insert, right? So that's the reason it is generating that insert statement. It is generating that insert statement. And then it is checking is there any primary key? As there is no primary key, what it is saying? Update is not supported. Update is supported when? Only when you define the primary key for the table. Okay. As there is no primary key was defined, it is saying like update is not supported. Okay.
Yeah.
So target connection group. So yesterday what we have done, whenever you can have multiple flows in a mapping, right? So here in particular mapping, how many flows we have?
Only one.
Only one we have. Okay, let me open parameters and variables. Okay, in this you will have only one flow is there. That's the reason. If you see the data over there, what it is saying? Target connection group consists of targets. Here only one group is there, so it is giving only one. It is saying only this target is available, and it is initialization is completed. So it is checking all the things for the writer, and it is saying like initialization is completed. It is preparing the database to load the data. Okay, it is preparing the Informatica to load the data, and reader is also successfully initialized. Writer is also initialized, reader is also initialized, and transformation is also initialized. Once it is started, okay, once it is started, it will try to read the data and then write the data, right? As soon as it will start to read the data, it will push it to write, or it will push it to the target. Okay. See here, it is started and it is giving what is the target table it is trying to load and when it is getting started. And also for reader also, it is giving what is the query that you need to run. Okay. And it will issue that query to the database. See here, SQL query issued to the database. Okay. Once it is issued, it will see when the first row is getting returned. Okay. How much time it is taking. So if you see the difference between these two timings, you will see this is the time when we ran the query, when we executed our query, and this is the time we got the first record. Okay. And after that, it is saying like I have read 5 records. Okay. Out of that, 0 error rows found. So I have read 5 records in that 0 errors, and reader run is completed. Okay. Only 5 records. So I have mentioned to pull only 300 to 800, the salary between 300 to 800, and that is getting completed. Okay. And then what it is doing? It is finished transformation source qualifier with total errors 0. It will give, in case of any errors, it will give you how many errors are there. Okay. In the same way, it will start the data load. Okay, it will start the data load to your target as well. It is started the data, reading the data, and it is started loading the data to target, and it is completed. Okay.
Yeah.
And then see here, it is giving summary. This is the target, and inserted rows requested 5. Okay, it got 5 records and it loaded all those 5 records. Okay, it is applied. It requested for 5 records and it is trying to apply. It means it is trying to insert the 5 records into your target, and then affected is 5. Rejected is 0. Nothing was rejected. Okay. So it is load complete and end up the load session, and your writer run is completed. Okay. This is how you can see. This is how you can see the reader information, writer information, and transformation information. And at the end, it will show run information for the target load group 1 concurrent set 1. We are not having any concurrent sets. And for this target, okay, for this particular flow, what is the time it took? Okay, for reader thread, how much time it took? For transformation time, how much time it took? For writer, how much time it took? Okay, normally it is completed within a fraction of seconds. So it is saying like there are no meaningful insights. The total runtime was insufficient for any meaningful statistics. That means you are just completing within 1 or 2 seconds. So that's the reason it is not able to provide any statistics. If it is running for around 3 minutes, 4 minutes, then it will show where it is taking more time. Okay. Once the session is completed, it will start the post session tasks. Okay. Post session tasks. So we don't have any post session tasks. So it is getting completed immediately. Okay. And then what it is doing, it is completing your session successfully. Okay, it is completing your session successfully, and it is keeping these persisted values for your variables. These are the different variables that we have created, right? And these are the persistent values it will keep once the session is getting completed. Okay, so you can see here variable value is 50, counter value is 15, minimum salary value is 300, maximum salary value is 800. Clear? So this is about the session log. So what we have in the session log, the 3 important things: reader, transformation,
writer,
writer.
transformation.
So in reader, what you will get to which database it is getting connected. Okay, to which database it is getting connected, and it will start the data fetching from that particular table, and it will show what is the query that it is firing on top of that particular database, and when the first record is getting returned. What is the use of checking the first row return time in the reader? Okay, in the reader, if you see here, what we have seen, it is issued, query issued to the database, and the first row return. By using this, you can identify how much time it is taking to fetch the record from the database. If there is any delay, then we have to improve the performance here. In case of performance improvement, it will be very useful. Okay. And in transformation, it will show what kind of transformations it is doing. For our case, we don't have any transformations in between, much of the transformation, right? Just we are passing the values to those variables. It will complete within fraction of seconds, and then it will try to load the data. And for loading of the data, what it is doing, it is generating the scripts first based on the inserts or updates. So as we are doing one insert only here, it is generating them, and then it is giving the information. Clear so far?
Yeah.
Doubts?
No.
Okay.